Both locomotives are what's known as an S15 class. They were built in 1920 under the tenure of a guy called Robert Urie, who was Chief Mechanical Engineer of the London and South Western Railway. 499 was outshopped in May of 1920, 506 in the November of that year. As you can see, they're both going to be 100 years old next year, which is fairly significant to us. 30506 is very nearly at the end of an 18-year restoration. The work involved on this one has been different to many overhauls on locos. When we started to strip the loco, we could see there had been movement with the cylinder blocks, which is a fairly crucial part of the loco, and there was rust on the frame plate behind it. So the decision was taken to strip down the front end. Once we got the cylinders off, we could see exactly what the problem was, which was that the frame plates, the metal of the frames, is ordinarily about 1 1/8 inches thick. In places it was down to 3/8. So what we actually had to do in the end was to cut off the front 9 feet of the frames. We did the work, we did it all ourselves apart from the actual weld, for which we needed a coded welder. There was then a major rebuild of the whole front end of the engine. That has all been done successfully, and then it was a case of hand the engine back to the Mid-Hants Railway paid engineers to finish the overhaul, which is where we are now. 499 is slightly different in the sense that she's never run in preservation before, but we have had to do the same work. We are currently starting the rebuild. We have riveted back in a huge lump that's called the centre casting between the two bits. We're starting as of March 2019 to work on the cylinders. When 506 goes back into traffic in May, then we will be permanently on 499, and the hope is that we'll have them both running together. Massive project, lots to do, but we will achieve it. The ULS goes back to the early 70s. One of the founders had set up a project to buy a Urie S15. He put out an appeal in the Railway magazine for people to join him. Some put their hands in the air. They got together, they raised the money in whichever form they could. It was selling magazines, selling any old rubbish really. A big change for the group was in 2011 when we became a charity, and that gave us access to more funding. 2011 was a platform for a huge spike, if you like, in the profile of the group, in people we work with, and in fundraising.
My name is Mark Collins, the honorary patron of the Urie Locomotive Society, and I've been in radio for the past 31 years as well. My interest in railways began years ago when I was a small kid. I'd sit there in my pram and watch trains go by and cry when we had to go home, and then I just developed this interest from about 10 onwards as a train spotter, and then always had an interest in all aspects of railways. And being on Wave 105, Mark Pedley heard me, knows of my interest in railways, and emailed me one day and said, would you like to be an honorary patron of the Urie Locomotive Society? The first thing that struck me about the society was just the enthusiasm, the amount of work they put in to restore these two locomotives. They do it because they're great engineers, and they love to be able to put something that was built 100 years ago, put it back together even better than when it was first made 100 years ago. And so I said to Mark, well, what do you want me to do? I can't just go on the radio and give you free plugs every now and again. He said, no, but we want to be mentioned on the radio, but we'd just like to have you being able to bring in new people, younger people, how you can run a society and make it more appealing. So I immediately said, yeah, I'll do it for you. You just let me know what you want me to do as an honorary patron. And I was very, very happy to accept.
We're often asked, what will we do once 499 returns to traffic? We are in a very lucky situation in that the group has a third boiler. So the initial medium-term plan is actually to work on that boiler and get it to a usable condition, so that when 506 has run its 10 years and we take its boiler off, we put a refurbished boiler back on, and then she's back out and earning money for the charity. That will be a massive step. 506's boiler then goes into the overhaul cycle, and so we go forward. The reality, though, is although that's the charity's dream, yes, there is a dream, everyone has a dream, there is another type of Urie loco, which is an 816, which is a huge tank engine, only 5 built, none survived. We'd love to build a new version of that. It will probably never happen, but that is the Urie dream.